It is nice to be here with you. I'm Harper, and let's do some yoga. We'll get into our whole body with this one. Really easy. I do this flow in the mornings. Start in a child's pose and stretch out through your abdomen and walk your hands to the right and to the left, kind of reaching a little bit more through the opposite hand. And bring yourself back through center, curl your toes under. Invite your hips to sit back onto your heels to open the soles of your feet, and then walk your hands toward your knees, align your shoulders over the hips, and you'll eventually stand on your knees. Bring your hands behind your back, either fingers up or down, whatever feels better. Squeeze your elbows together, squeeze your shoulders, lift the chest, press the hips forward. We'll add in some dancing camels. You'll bring your right hand to the heel, reach back through the opposite arm, then left hand to the heel. Take it into a forward fold, opposite elbow grab, little sway from side to side. Say yes, say no, bend generously in your knees here. You want to stretch out through the front of the shoulders, interlace your hands behind your tail. Invite your knuckles over head, neck, and shoulders. I'm playing around with my knee bend variations here. Release that and walk your hands out. We'll find a down dog shape. Spread really wide into your fingers. If you have any shoulder issues, index fingers open more toward the corners of your mat. Pedal out through your legs, bend into the knees, drive through the heels. I'm bending into both my knees here. And then eventually I'm going to drop down to a tabletop position. Take some fire hydrants, big circles through the right knee, one way and the other, maybe 3 circles in both directions. Point the toe, heel is in tight. Re-extend through your right leg and then step your right foot outside your right pinky finger. This is a lizard lunge. I'm lifting up through my back left knee to kind of take any intuitive movements there, getting back into my hamstring by shifting my hips back, flexing my toes. But honestly, do what feels best for you. I'm allowing my toes to open, pushing into my knee, inviting the quad stretch. My left heel kicks in, my right hand reaches, opening my shoulder by kicking my foot back into my hand. And then step it back to a down dog shape. I'm bending deeply into my knees to really lengthen my spine there. Readdressing the press through the hand. Can you draw your chin in to lengthen through the back of the spine? And we'll do the same thing other side. Drop into your knees, play around with some big circles through the kneecap, and pull your heel in nice and tight. Pointed toes. Press into both your hands. Once you get done with circles both ways, lengthen through your left leg and step your left foot outside your left pinky finger. Find your variations. If you need to have blocks under your hands for this or along the sides of the mat, please invite that. Any kind of props that are going to elevate the floor, make it feel good. I'm inviting the toes open and pushing my knee open, the quad stretch. You can also lower to your right forearm for this to get deeper into the hip flexor. And then step it back to down dog. Back into the pedaling of the legs, checking in. We're going to take the feet nice and wide and toes out, heels in. Walk your hands back to meet your feet. Forward fold into Malasana Yogi Squat. As you sink here, let your knees open and your hips tuck. Now, if you can't bend deeply into your knees, take your hips in line with your knees, go halfway. But I'm flossing back and forth here. So as I inhale, I'm opening through the chest, taking the squat. As I exhale, forward fold. 5-10 of those. And we'll walk it out. High plank pose, top of your push-up. Drop into your knees, your chest, your chin, slowly lower down. Breathe it up to a cobra pose. Try to keep the hip points connected. Only go as far forward and up as feels good for you. Notice if you want to lift the chin here. Rolling cobras are really nice. And then chest expansion. You'll reach your right arm out to the right side. Open the chest. Step your left foot in front of or behind the right leg. And then bring yourself back through center. Left arm extends out to a T to the left. Right foot behind or in front of. And you should feel a nice stretch in the front of the right and the left shoulder here. I'm doing advanced arm variations. Please don't feel like you need to do that. We'll bring it back into a cobra pose. My hands are nice and wide here. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Soften the shoulders down from the ears. And then eventually hips to heels, child's pose. Make your way to a down dog shape. Bring your right leg to lift. Lift and lower the left heel here. Hips squared. Step it through to the right thumb. Lower down through your left knee, low lunge. You can have blocks to frame your right foot. Bring your hands to your thigh. Press the chest open. Squeeze your shoulders. And bring your right hand to the back of the thigh or left calf, hip. Reach through your left arm, exalting, opening through the front side of the chest and side body. Obviously, your variations do not have to look like mine, so please don't feel like if your practice doesn't look like mine, you're not doing it properly. Hips go back in space for a half split. Here I'm opening my toes to the right to take it a little deeper into the IT band. Feels really good. Try it out. Wide leg straddle for the win, right? Toes in, heels out. I'm walking my hands between my feet and really letting my spine be nice and long. So if the head easily hits the floor, just bring your feet a little closer together. And now we'll pivot into the left leg. Sweep your left leg up and back, bend the knee, open the hip, or just play around with lifting and lowering your right heel. Before you step your left foot back through, drop into your right knee, find your low lunge. We're facing the opposite direction, new perspective here. Clear the mind. Use blocks if needed. And we'll exalt the lunge, reaching through your right arm, left hand going to your hip, the back of the right thigh or the calf. Really wrap the left hip back in space as you sink into the hip. Only as much as feels good. Hips go back in space for your half split. And then if you took the IT band, toes open to the left, walk your hands to frame the outer shin or thigh. And that will get nice and deep into your outer hip. Good. Now we'll find some skandhasanas. So once again, if you have hip and knee issues, you're only going to bring your hip in line with your knee. But if it feels okay to sink into the left knee, flex into your right toes. Here I am taking a bind. If this is new to you, honestly, keep your hands grounded and just go back and forth, noticing how the body feels the lower back, inner thigh. I'm going to take one more variation here, really opening up through the side body. I'll bring my right hand to the left ankle and reach the left arm up and over. As I do this, I'm inviting the left knee away from my body and leaning back into my left shoulder. So I'll do the same on the right side. If you're here and you need a little bit more help, write me a message. I'm happy to do a breakdown of this one facing the camera. But again, do you. Really intuitive movements that feel good. Pivot back into your right leg. We'll step the left foot forward, forward fold. Our body should feel pretty good at this point. We've kind of gotten to everything. So inhale to lengthen, exhale, fold. Let your head be heavy as you roll yourself up. I would bend my knees if that feels okay in your body. And then here I am just taking a side body stretch, right hand, left wrist, and then left hand, right wrist. And I'll take one more back bend here.